Portra 400 is widely regarded as one of the best film stocks that you can buy and is a staple to modern film photography. Introduced with its current emulsion in 2010 and designed with portrait photography in mind, it renders skin tones beautifully in any lighting condition that you could ever find yourself in. With a box speed of 400 and a fine grain made specifically for scanning, combined with the flexibility that comes from its incredible latitude, the muted colors, and that classic Kodak warmth, it's no wonder why it's so loved in the film community by professionals and beginners alike. Portra 400 is the king of portraits, and I think we all know that in some sense, whether we've shot it or not. I mean, it's in the name, and every review online will only affirm that. But here's the thing, I don't really care about that. I mean, of course I do. I've taken loads of portraits with Portra that I really like, that I'm really proud of. But for the purpose of this video, I don't really care about that. I don't want to focus on that. Instead, I like to shift the attention to part of Kodak's marketing for Portra, which I don't think we focus on enough, and that is that as well as for portrait and fashion photography, Portra is also ideal for nature, travel, and outdoor photography. And I'm currently in the outdoors, out of the outdoors, in the outdoors, at the outdoors. And as you'll see in this video, there's not much to talk about really, because we kind of all know what Portra is. So what I wanted to do in this video was just to show Portra being used in different contexts other than portrait and fashion photography, and let you see the results, and that's it really. It's not entirely like a typical review, but yeah, as you saw, I went to the rainforest and I brought along with me some Portra 400. So yeah, let's get some shots. I didn't shoot a whole roll, I only got a few shots, but that's because I was also shooting digital and I was also dying from the 20-kilometer walk that I was on. My favorite image was this one, which was the final one that I took, captured with my telephoto lens, and it's also the only shot that I captured with my telephoto lens that I carried for a 20-kilometer walk. But despite the discomfort, the image is worth it. There's something about the compression that a telephoto lens gives that makes the image flat, but also with this shot, there's different layers to it, so it's flat, but detailed. It's a mix of simple and complex that I really love in photography. Overall, I was quite happy with the results of this roll, even though it wasn't quite what I had expected from previous rolls that I'd shot where there were green elements and plant life really. For a few of these images, the greens were just a little bit too warm for me, and I know Kodak leans warm and that can be problematic sometimes, but I don't mind it too much as long as it's motivated in a way. If the image is warm but the scene seems like it should be cold, it's weird for me and I don't like it. But say it's like golden hour and you're at the beach and it's a warm image, yeah, that makes sense. It's very easy to correct in Lightroom, but it's worth bearing in mind. So I've come here to the beach to explore that concept now at the golden hour with this beautiful light. As ever, I'm shooting on my EOS-3000, and to begin with, I think I might get a shot of this little boat. Wow, look at those clouds. Oh, and as per tradition, I haven't gotten a shot of my cameraman yet. Now I admit these aren't amazing images, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. What I'm actually trying to show you is just the versatility of Portra 400, and that leads perfectly into the next scene or whatever, where I tried some nighttime long exposures. So, for the next part of this video, we're gonna do some long exposures at nighttime. It's not recommended to shoot stuff that isn't daylight balanced without a colored filter. I haven't got any colored filters. I'm gonna break all the rules just to see what shots I get. So yeah, I'm gonna do some long exposures on Portra 400 with my EOS-3000. So here's my first shot, 20 seconds at f11 on a 50mm lens, and I've got a 10-second timer here so I don't introduce much shake, and we're just gonna let it go, beep away. And that's the first shot. I think I'm gonna do my second shot the exact same but on the other side. So I've come to the industrial zone because I think there's quite a few nice compositions here at night. It's just, you know, a bit different and it's not busy, which means we can be on the road really. Oh, here's something that looks interesting. I'm gonna shoot through this fence. It's very similar exposure. I think it's gonna be f11, 20 seconds, but I might go for 30 seconds. And that's the picture. As I was taking this exposure, I just saw a whole other shot appear right here. So I'm gonna give that a try. I'm pretty sure it's also gonna be 30 seconds at f11. It seems that the lighting around here is practically the same brightness everywhere, which kind of makes sense really. For my next few shots, I'm gonna get a few pictures of this brick building just here, and hopefully they turn out good. By far, my favorite images from that night are these final three. They're just great shots. So yeah, with that concludes my 3 nature, travel, outdoor kind of scenes. And the resulting images just go to show how versatile a film Portra 400 is. Quite a few people use this stock as their everyday shooting film, but personally for me, I wouldn't like to do that. I think it's more suited to special occasions or when I'm off traveling. And if you've seen my review of Kodak Gold, you know that I'd much rather shoot that than Portra given the price tag. But as for when you are shooting Portra, I really recommend playing around with it. Portra 400 has a lot of latitude in over and underexposure, and as is the case with color negative films, that plays a lot with the saturation and the contrast. So it's a great way to experiment and play around and get different results. With Portra, the difference between overexposing and underexposing is massive and gives you really different results. And for greens, I found that underexposing Portra is the way to go. But only slightly. You haven't got as much latitude with underexposure as you do with overexposure. And overexposing by one stop on Portra 400 gives you more of a desaturated, less contrasty kind of look, as is the case with most color negatives. I found that I really like the yellows and the whites and blues when it comes to overexposing Portra. And tied together with that is the concept of scanning. Nearly all of the photos shown in this video were scanned at my local lab on their Noritsu scanner. They kind of clip the highlights and give a result that's almost like what you'd get out of a digital camera, except for this final roll that you're seeing right now that I got scanned on a Frontier scanner, which gives a much more filmic look. I'm honestly going to be scanning on Frontier from now on, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in an upcoming video. And if you have your own scanner, well, lucky you. But yeah, overall, just have fun with it. You're shooting film, there's a lot of room for experimentation, and I think it's the best way to learn. As ever, I'm still on my film journey. I've only shot 10 rolls of Portra 400 and I will shoot many more in the future. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. And on that note, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please smash like, smash notification. You know the drill. Subscribe. All of the above. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which is going to be all about some other film. I don't know. You'll have to subscribe to find out. Whew.